Beautiful. Good afternoon, Toronto. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Crack of Dawn. My name is Curtis Anthony. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you. We're going to talk about your evolution, your vision, your mission of your music. The Cool Breeze is here to chronicle the vibe and magnify your brilliance. Rupert, thanks for having you to the studio.
Thanks
Mark Daniels.
Oh, I like the brilliance part.
Nice. Tell me, how have you been?
We've been fantastic. We're just in the background working away.
That's good. What's a normal day for you outside of music?
For me, outside of music?
Yeah.
That's a tough question, but right now, I'm enjoying the summer. I'm at my cottage.
Good.
When I can be there.
Rupert?
Well, I do what I do outside of music. I'm still I teach martial arts. That's what I do.
Okay, what style?
Shaolin, praying mantis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's being gentle about it. He's in fact a master.
Okay.
He's at the highest level.
Okay.
In martial arts.
Good
He's
stuff.
just being quiet about it.
Yeah. He's a humble man.
We just keep low key.
Okay, Crack of Dawn. How did this band get started? And there was talk that you were the Earth, Wind and Fire of Canadian bands. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I was a very young guy, young teenager, and I have to go back pre-Crack of Dawn to make this make any sense to you.
Good.
Okay, so back in those days, in the early '70s, there was mostly American funk bands or R&B bands that were coming to Toronto.
Okay.
There was only a very few homegrown, organically grown Canadian R&B bands, because
at the time
because what you would find is that the club owners, they didn't want to take a chance on getting local guys in. So they used to maybe have spots on some of the matinees, but all the main shows were definitely all the American bands were coming up. But we grew up in our own culture, which is the Caribbean stuff, so reggae, calypso, stuff like that. But we've always, as West Indian people, are very open-minded about music.
Okay.
So we love funk also, coming from the United States. So we started playing at a very young age. So at that time, there was a couple of local acts around, and one of them was called the Cougars.
Okay.
They ended up firing the guitar player, and my friend was playing bass with them, and he was super young, 16 years old. So he said, "I know this guitar player named Rupert."
Yes.
So they said, "Cool." So they brought me in. My first gig, I was like 16 years old. They sent me a plane ticket. Jumped on a plane for my first show. Went to Thunder Bay and played this place called the Jolly Roger. I wasn't even old enough to be in the establishment, so just play the gig, hide.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hide back. Yeah. So I ended up touring with those guys for a while, for that whole summer. Trevor Daly was in that band, so that's how I first met Trevor, actually.
Okay.
And then after the Cougars broke up, I remember, I think we just came from a tour in Quebec.
Right.
And Trevor had it with music, because we had some pretty crazy experiences on the road back in those days, like being the first young black kids in certain areas. Things were nuts. I mean, I could get into some serious details, but Trevor pretty much said, "That's it for me, I'm done with music." Went off on his own, got his, was living in his apartment. So one day I come knocking on his door, go, "Trevor, we gotta do this." He goes, "Get out of here, get away from me."
I can hear him.
Get out of here. So I said, "No, Trev, I got this. Me, Mark and I, who was the bass player, and and yourself, we should get together and do something serious in the city." So finally, we talked him into it.
Okay.
So from there, we started looking for other musicians. We remembered Alvin Jones, sax player, who had actually done a couple of gigs with us when we were with the Cougars.
Right.
So we recruited Alvin, and then later on we recruited Carl Otway on drums.
Yes.
And after that, my brother came in. I got my brother to come in because he was touring with another kind of a three-piece rock funk kind of thing. And the original vocalist was a female vocalist named Jackie Gabriel. Right. So she was the sister of our then manager, Abraham Black, or Grant Gabriel. So what happened is Jackie was very demanding at the time, so the band, we were kind of scared of her. She was kind of intimidating. But, we still loved her.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting. She ended up quitting, and we got Glenn Ricketts.
Okay.
Right.
Great voice.
Glenn was like a legendary Jamaican singer, but amazing R&B guy. He'd been in the States, and we got Glenn in, and started rehearsing on a very regular basis. So we were rehearsing at Abe's house, and it was very normal for us to go to rehearsal at like 4 in the afternoon and end at 6 the next morning. So one day we came out of rehearsal and we're standing around in front of Abe's driveway, looking up at the sky and just seeing the sun coming up. And we go, somebody said, boy, another crack of dawn. And I think Alvin said, hey, we should call the name of the band. We should name the band Crack of Dawn. So that's how that name came about. Like we were young cats that just loved music.
Right.
It was very organic. You know, we had strong friendships. We knew each other since we were teenagers.
Rupert, let me ask you, when you guys signed that contract, first Afro-Canadian band, you signed that contract to a major label.
Yeah.
You hear your music playing on TV, on the radio,
Yeah.
and you start to tour. Take us there.
Oh, you want to jump to that? Okay. Well, that was an incredible. To me, actually, when I think about it now, I didn't even know what was going on. It was you ever seen a movie and they show the dream state where things
Yes.
are kind of warped?
Yes.
That's how that whole time felt, because 1 second we're playing like little dives. We're walking over like drunken bodies to go inside and alleyways and stuff like that. And the next minute, we got discovered by Columbia Records. This guy named Shane Bennett walked into a rehearsal one day and said, hey, we've been hearing about you guys, because we're playing some local venues at the time. We got good enough to be playing like the Cocktail, or we're playing the Colonial Tavern, and that was a first for a local band.
Yes.
Back in those days.
Wow.
We're competing with Dizzy Gillespie and names like that, right? So they came in and saw us rehearsing, and the next step was, wow, we're interested in you guys. Would you mind doing a demo? So they took us into the studio. We did a demo. They loved what they heard. And then Bob Gallo, who was James Brown and Otis Redding's producer from New York, came up to produce us.
All right.
Yeah, he's the guy that actually got us signed to Columbia Records.
Okay.
So what you were saying, after that, it's like a Cinderella story. After that, it was just like biggest venues in the country, like Massey Hall, Place des Arts. I mean, you name it. I can't remember. I remember our record literally was playing on the radio. Like every time I turned on the radio, you could hear it. And so Columbia, they wanted us to do a national tour to back up the record.
Right.
So I remember they flew us out to start in the West first, and then we came back into the East. But the first show, we're such like naive young guys. We're driving from the airport. They sent like a nice limo to pick us up and everything. I'm just like in Wonderland here. Wow, we're getting picked up by a limo. Where are we going, man?
Yeah.
We're driving and we're passing by thousands of people lining this park.
Right.
Right? And it didn't even dawn on us that these people are all here to see us. So our first show, I'll never forget, is in Edmonton. There was 15,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's after we got signed. That's the magic of a major label.
That's incredible.
Yes.
It's the time.
Yeah.
So you touring, and the guys, I'm sure guys must be driving big cars and fancy clothes,
Well,
and the women.
Oh, you wanted to get there real quick, didn't you?
You don't wait, huh? You just go right in.
He's just like right there. Well, you know what, we were young but fairly smart. So what we did, we actually invested in equipment.
Good.
From the we got a lump sum of money also from the label. So we bought I think we bought like a truck, for hauling gear.
Yeah.
And we bought our own lighting system, our own we owned everything. We owned our full production.
That's good.
Yeah, which bands hardly do. They usually rent. But yeah, we decided from then we're gonna buy everything. So when the band actually broke up, as opposed to paying out money, people got things. Like some guys got sound and lights, some guys got a truck, it's all stuff that we owned.
Right.
Right. So I don't know what they did with their part of the gear after that. But long story short again, so we were touring, we're doing fantastic. We were contacted by Bob Marley's management. They wanted us to tour supporting Bob in Europe. Yes. Right? I think it was Don Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just about to do a 3-month tour when Glenn was kind of, as being the lead vocalist, people whispering, oh, you're great, you don't need these guys. So he went off on his own, left the band right at the time we were just about to break through. Right? At first, what happened is we did a show in Montreal, and some of the Columbia execs from New York were there to see the show, and we blew away like the main act and stuff. So we heard them whispering, hey, these guys are really a lot like Earth, Wind and Fire. We don't know if this might bite into that market, right? So from there, it was almost like a plot to destroy the band. So they contacted Glenn and told him, get rid of the horn section because the horn section kind of defines Earth, Wind and Fire sound. So they just wanted to go with the rhythm section. So we had a band meeting, and I was totally against it. I was the youngest guy in the band, the least voice, even though I was probably the first guy that started walking the road to make this band. So I didn't know what to do. I wanted to keep those guys, but in the end, they were just so insulted that nobody had to fire them. They just walked away. Right, so we ended up playing behind Glenn as Crack of Dawn without the horn section for like a couple of months, and then the rest of the rhythm section go, you know what, man?
You don't need that.
No, we don't want this.
When did the band break up?
Break up? Oh, you mean what year?
Roughly, yeah.
So that was, I think, 1978. Yeah, 1978, and then I got frustrated with music. I decided that I'm going to leave Toronto. I went to Kitchener because I did some recordings, like some of my more like jazz funk mixed with African vibe. And this guy named Eric Walsh heard of me. He was a radio guy in Kitchener, so he invited me for an interview. We hit it off right away, became great friends, and I said, Eric, I should just come down here and hang out. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, I knew a few musicians, so started showing me around the local scene there. I was away from the pressure of all, this record politics.
Yes, it didn't.
So I started meeting. I met Errol Blackwood and Ray Ruddock, and started jamming in Eric's basement. And before we know it, we have this band together called Messenger.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
really quick.
The Messenger part was a reggae band.
Yeah. So, but we sprang. I mean, I literally sprang from Other Crack of Dawn.
Okay.
Like if you want to look at the direct history in line, even though like one was R&B, but you have to remember that our original root was Jamaican reggae, and like for Carl Otway, for instance, soca, calypso.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we were very familiar with multiple types of genres, from jazz all the way to reggae music, to calypso music, to soca music, whatever. Because we grew up with that.
Okay.
So it wasn't a false thing. It was a natural progression for me to go and go deeper into my own roots and culture, and bringing to it. I think what made Messenger stand out is the fusion that I was able to incorporate this stuff. My knowledge of music from Crack of Dawn, influencing. If you listen to Messenger's background harmonies, you hear it's an R&B, pretty much R&B harmony structures that I used, and that's what made Messenger stand out, because we came to reggae, but we had other influences. So we always called ourselves a reggae fusion band.
Okay, that's the Messenger.
Yeah.
And how long did Messenger run for?
Oh, long time. So we got signed to Warner Brothers. We became the first black reggae Canadian band to be signed to a major record label. So I was in both of those historical movements.
This is good to know.
I'm the root of that.
Okay.
Right?
Before we're gonna get
to.
Okay, I forgot to ask you, the Crack of Dawn, the makeup of your band. Where were these guys from?
Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna run it down.
Yeah.
So we had guys that were Nova Scotians, Black Canadians, which were the Gabriel part, with Dwight Gabriel, a trumpet player, whose sister, the original person, Jackie, was a singer. They're all from Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, like old mining town, right? And they migrated over to Toronto.
Right.
And then we had myself, my brother, Trevor Daly, and Alvin Jones, and Glenn were all Jamaicans.
Okay.
And then we had Andre King from Trinidad was on bass.
All right.
But before that, there was a Canadian bass player named Mark Smith, Toronto born.
All right.
And then we had on keyboards our Polish member who we got when we went to the studio, named Jacek Sobota.
Yes.
Genius of a player. I mean, like this guy, he was like best friends with legendary bass player that played with
Jan Hammer? No.
the guy that played with Weather Report.
Jaco Pastorius.
Jaco Pastorius and him were very good friends. So and he was always going, when we were off, he'd fly down to LA and hang out with Jaco and stuff like that. But so it's Polish, Caribbean, and Canadian basically.
What about Carl Otway?
Otway, Grenada.
He came from Grenada.
Grenada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have Trini, Grenadan, Jamaica. It's like we're representing the whole West Indies, man. You know.
It's incredible. You have history and two great bands, revolutionary in Canadian music.
Yes.
Did you guys ever win any awards? Anything?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything they had available here, I think we won.
Clean up.
Everything. I mean, more so Messenger than Crack of Dawn, because we had the longevity where Crack of Dawn only lasted a few years being signed. Messenger got signed, I believe. We did our first album in 1982, and then we did another one in 84, 86. Well, yeah, Messenger lasted till 98 from 82, right?
Okay.
So we were signed to Warner for a part of that.
Right.
Then we left Warner Brothers because we weren't happy with the way they were handling us.
Okay.
So then we signed to an Irish company called Shanachie.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
They put a lot of stuff.
That's right.
Worldwide.
So, worldwide. So we got signed to Shanachie, and that's where we really blew up huge in the States. Like we had number ones, like in places in section of the states, like
Yes.
Hawaii, in all the islands, and Guam, all those places. Yeah, my song that I wrote, actually, Cool Operator, was like number one on the charts there, and years later it became number one again because it was re-recorded by a local Hawaiian band called 3 Plus. So we got tons of tour. Most of Messenger's touring was not Canada, even though we did Canada coast to coast multiple times.
Yes.
It was mostly the United States
All right.
and other places.
You ever wondered if Crack of Dawn had stayed together in those days?
Would have been huge. Yeah.
Wow, because
Yeah.
that start you guys got.
Right. And you know what? But to be honest with you,
Yeah.
the lessons that you learn from these experiences are the
True.
most valuable.
True.
And it taught us about something called humility.
Yes.
And one thing I hate is to see singers, especially, because they seem to be one with the plague,
Yeah.
where the head just goes like this,
Whoa.
and now they become the center of attention.
Yeah.
Partially the reason why I picked up vocals, like, because I was just singing background vocals and playing rhythm guitar in Crack of Dawn.
Yeah.
But I didn't want a lead vocal attitude in Messenger, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah, why not?
And approach it from a musician's perspective,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And that's why I kept the band together for so long.
Okay. Right. And these guys, they had it together and stayed level,
That's it.
grounded.
Yes.
Now, old Crack of Dawn, a new Crack of Dawn. What sparked the resurgence?
Great question. So
Thank you.
in 2000 and I think it was 13,
All right.
Alvin called me up and Trevor said, "Hey, we got this idea." What? Let's
What?
start Crack of Dawn again. I go, "What? Are you guys crazy?" But I'm saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm not really doing anything much right now. So, yeah, I'm in. Let's give it a shot." So we started running up as many as the original guys that we could find, and every single one of them said yes.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, that worked.
Right. Well, the key thing is that when the band broke up, we all remained friends. Like
That's good.
Yeah. There
Vital.
was no animosity in the old band other than the lead singer who took off and ditched us. And that's
part of the business.
And as a friend, I
Yeah.
still love the guy.
Yeah.
Like to this day.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, me and him maintain the friendship and stuff. Like he's just a different kind of guy. I mean, like he's in Jamaica right now, trying to do his thing, and he keeps in touch with me time to time.
Good. I
You know,
like that.
I have nothing in my heart. These are all my brothers, man. Like we were kids together. You know?
Yeah.
So that started in 2013. So we went around, we found everyone. We had to clean up a couple of guys. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes. I like that.
and then we started rehearsing, and it was a nightmare. Arguing, fighting.
Yeah, that's normal.
But that's
normalcy.
especially with a brother vibe.
Yeah.
We knew each other since we were kids. That's how the same teenage vibe still exists to this day, even though we're big old men now.
It's always a love in the camp.
That's right. And then moving forward to this guy,
The new Crack of Dawn. Right?
one of the new guys,
Mark Daniels.
along with Bella and Bella, the keyboard player.
Yes, Bella Heyman.
Yeah, Bella Heyman, fantastic keyboard player, and Michael Dunstan
Oh!
to replace Glenn. What a voice!
I had him on my show, man.
Yeah.
He is fabulous.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah,
is
fabulous.
excellent. And then Mark came in to do a piece in our music video.
All right.
The song actually called Crack of Dawn. And
Ready to play.
yeah, so he was actually kind of just like an actor in a way, like in the video. And then I think I said, "Hey, Mark, why don't you come to rehearsal, man? Just come, just show up." He's like, "You're like, what? Really?" Yeah, I guess he could
Exactly.
Fit in like a glove.
Exactly. So I
Tell me about that.
I keep calling this, when I came along, and it was really because of Rupert, because at the end of that music video, we were standing on the street,
Yes.
and he looks at me and goes, "Can you actually play those congas?" And I go, "Yeah, I can." He says, "So come to rehearsal." And so I went to rehearsal, and in walked the whole band, and everybody's kind of looking at me like I'm a Martian, and wondering what's going on here.
Okay.
And so they start to rehearse some stuff,
Right.
and I have been listening to the music, and I've listened to that album probably 400 times, so I really knew at least where my starting point was and where I wanted to go in my head.
Right.
And so we started to rehearse, and the whole band really enjoyed the sound of percussion.
Yeah.
Sometimes loud, sometimes soft, sometimes intricate, and sometimes very simple in the background supporting the music.
Right.
And so I guess it was after about 4 rehearsals, maybe 5, they looked at me and they said, "So you're kind of a part of the band."
Good.
And I said, "Fantastic! I look forward to it because the music is really good."
Yeah, it is.
And these guys still fight like they're teenagers, which is like
good.
you can't believe.
It keeps them together.
You know, and I just sit back and just wait until they finally arrive at their decision, and then
He's trying to understand what we're saying, because you know when we
The
curse,
lingo.
we go right back to our original
Oh, yeah.
lingo.
He will learn.
They curse at each other in Jamaican childhood patois.
Oh.
So it's for me.
Foreign language.
I'm watching them going. They're speaking Mandarin. I can't understand a word, and I wait. And then once they come back from the argument and they agree upon where they're going to go, what the direction is, then Rupert, one of the guys, will say, "Okay, here's what we're doing," and then we go.
Oh, yeah, let me add to that.
Go ahead.
Because before I forget. So, one of the players that came over from Messenger with me,
Who's that?
Charles St. Clair, my bass player.
I was going to ask you about him.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
wickedest bass player in this country.
I heard that growl in that bass.
Yeah.
I listened to all the masters.
That's right.
Who is this guy?
That's right. So Charles, who was an amazing bass player, he's Jamaican American. So in other words, born in Jamaica, grew up in New York, right? So he was exposed to like all the best funk and R&B growing up. He actually, as a teenager, I think, was like jammed or played with Al Green.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know, like these guys are
Been around.
Yeah, been around. So if you look at the roster, if you look at the band, like it's like pretty much it's all high level players in this band.
Yes.
You know.
I came down I covered Friday the
Beaches.
Beaches Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
10 bands.
Yeah.
I said the Sunday is exclusively Crack of Dawn.
Yes.
Nothing else. And I start to roll tape. They had about 5-6 guys on the fence. They were their big high-end equipment.
Yeah.
And I saw this band and I go, DVD, she's on the Air Candy show. She came down with her equipment and we rolled film. And the band was just simply off the chain, man. It's just that sound. And it sounded like a record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pure, clean, everything separated. Musicians, everybody doing their thing. But adding Mark Daniels and the other cats, Bella,
Yeah.
Michael Dunstan adds a different dimension.
Yes.
People were telling me after I put this guy's just off the chain, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I've seen him various times with different bands.
Lots
Yeah.
of stuff.
I've seen Mark with Real Big World.
Yeah.
I saw you with Jerome Tucker last summer before. And the versatility and the different bands you guys bring and the musicmanship and all that kind of stuff. But Crack of Dawn to me is
Next level.
yeah, it's just totally, it blew everything away. I saw.
I watched it in the
comes-
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the audience had seen good jazz and bad jazz all
Yes.
day long.
Yes.
And then this band comes on, Crack of Dawn, and everybody's dressed.
Yes.
Yeah. Those
White.
We're all
The
dressed in
appearance,
white.
yeah.
Yes.
And it's with this fresh, clean look on stage, and we start to play, and you could see the audience. You could feel it, but you could also see them start to move, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they could connect. It was funk, and it
Yeah.
was fabulous.
While I was rolling tape, I didn't walk with the tripod because depending on the landscape, I said, you know what? I had that thing.
Death grip.
Death grip. Like the Shaolin Temple grip. Because I wanted that image steady.
Yeah.
And then also when you guys play these funky sounds, I wanted to dance.
Yeah.
I said, Breeze, you can't do that. When I was done taping, my arms, I said,
The hand.
it seized up.
Yeah, that was a good day.
It's
A tough
good. It was-
stage.
Yeah.
Weather
a
was
tough
good.
stage.
Yes, weather was good.
Good, yeah.
And
it
it was
very
windy
good.
too.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Turned into
Yeah.
a beautiful day.
Yeah, it was. But
I will tell you though,
tell me,
we have very high expectations of ourselves.
right?
So we're always next show, next idea.
Good.
We're all about refining what you saw.
Yes.
Next time you see us,
Uh-huh.
we'll be 10 times as good.
That's what I like to hear, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's the work ethic
High.
that it takes to make it. Like people ask me, "Oh my God, how did you end up being in the only two groups signed to major record labels, black bands from other Canada?"
There's a reason for that.
Exactly. So I said it's not an accident, man.
No.
It's the work ethic and the determination, and also right place, right time, synchronicities,
Yes.
stuff like that. But if you don't have that initial drive to and what I've always done, I've never followed anyone.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I listen to people. I
Right.
listen to Stevie Wonder. I get influences and stuff like that. But when it comes to writing my stuff and writing the stuff from an album, if it's not coming from the heart, I'm just a conduit, man. Like
Yeah.
so, I'm just voicing what the creator put in my brain and out. All the guys I see trying to copy and follow never make it. You make it to a certain level, you're not going to be a concert act. A concert act is an original act.
Right.
That's what people want to pay their money to see.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
This is great.
So I can tell you that in rehearsal, Rupert and Charles,
Yeah.
mostly Rupert and Charles, are perfectionist taskmasters. Not a bad thing.
no,
Not a bad thing at all.
No.
And it's not quite right, do it again. It's not quite right, do it again.
Yes.
It's not quite right, do it again.
Till we
And
get
I
it
mean,
right.
some of the stuff that
Yeah.
we rehearsed, I think we probably rehearsed it. Oh my God! I think we probably rehearsed
Lots
it
of
600 times
Yeah. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
till it was right
Yeah.
to both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if it wasn't right to them, it's not right yet.
We're not going home just yet.
That's right.
You're not going on.
Charles is a taskmaster.
Yeah.
Total taskmaster, man. Like you're not gonna get nothing, and you're not gonna cow this guy or bully him down from his position.
Right.
So he'll let you go off and rant as much as you want. He'll be waiting there
That's
to
right.
practice after you're done.
Absolutely.
After you've
That's
lost
right.
your last breath.
After
You ready?
finish yelling,
Let's practice now.
That's right.
Wow. This is, yeah. I mean,
So it's tough.
this
It's
is what
great.
it takes. Now let's talk a little bit about not to go off, but Real Big World.
Yeah, really big well.
Is that what Joaquin Nunez?
Joaquin? Yeah,
I saw
still
that.
Joaquin Hidalgo, yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
you two came to the studio when I just started 3 years ago, and glad to have you
It
back.
still exists.
Yes.
It's still got some gigs coming up.
Mhm.
Some of the personnel changed a little bit.
Right.
Smoothed out their sound. They're working on a bunch of new originals,
Right.
which I'll be called in on pretty soon to start working on.
Right.
And I give part of my energy there.
All right.
But I would say it's sort of a 30-70 split. I'm about
Okay.
30% there and about 70% here.
Okay. All right.
And either way, I give 120% of whatever I do anyway. So
Right. When I saw that concert 2 summers ago, I was totally blown away. The production. They had a camera team with a truck,
yeah,
a mixing board, a truck. The stage lighting was just unreal. Choreography, dancing, this and that, everything mixed in. I go, wow, this
yeah,
is
it was big and it was heart stopping and it was
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Mhm.
Great if you're doing it once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Extremely hard to duplicate if you decide you want that to be your show
Yeah.
and you want your show to go across the country or down into the States. The production, you have 12 people on stage,
Yeah.
sometimes 18,
Yeah.
but backstage you have 40. So it becomes very complex, and so we sort of moved away from that. Went back to our the roots, and the roots being music.
Music, right?
Yeah.
Good. But I'm so glad to see Crack of Dawn come back and just energize the universe, man.
Yeah, good, thanks.
I'm making good music, and I know you guys have been busy. I've been trying it for a while to get. I said, why don't we get the whole band to come down, or at least half, and tell the stories. And I made sure when Mark you guys contacted me, and I said, make sure I need somebody with history. It's one thing, old and new. Old and new.
That's it.
So what are your expectations with the new Crack of Dawn going forward?
Well, we have a lot of irons, as Mark says, in the fire. We have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And one of our major focus right now is to bust out in Europe and the United States. You know, and we have invested a lot of our time and energy and dollars
Right.
into having that happen. And you will see over the next several months
Yes.
that you know, we're definitely going to be a known name in the all across America.
Right.
We've teamed up with some really key people. The people that we're working with work with the who of who, and any name I mention that you're going to go, whoa,
Yeah.
these are the kind of people they work with, and now we are part of that
Yeah.
team.
Right. Right. Crack of Dawn. I never thought I would see it, but I love what I see. Touring and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It is people.
That's right.
Well, Mark was just speaking to one of my friends actually that I introduced the band to. The good thing about being a messenger, I still maintain a lot of my contacts, and you know, we did a lot more touring than Crack It On, so now I'm able to tap into these guys to actually help Crack It On. And actually Mark's been helping me with this thing in Europe, so if you could mention
let's
it.
elaborate
No,
on
we're
that.
talking with somebody who's got an unbelievably long catalog of work experience with some really big name bands
Yeah.
who have toured extensively for, you know, since when they were kids, and they're still touring now as mature adults with families and some of them grandkids.
Yeah.
And the messages coming back to me are, well, do you want to do 5 countries or do you want to do 14 countries?
Oh, okay.
Because I have the availability of booking you for either a few or for many. So we're looking at all the different venues and all the different possibilities right now, and seeing if we can find a way to link it all so it sort of makes sense.
Yes.
And to make it efficient.
Okay.
Efficiency always is your big issue when you tour.
Okay.
You know, how do you go from here to there and not end up having that being 4,000 miles apart, and then you have to come back because you couldn't get the hall that was only 400 miles away.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Logistics.
No,
the band
huge
members.
problem.
Do members have regular jobs mixed in with music?
I think majority of us. Some people might have a few things happening. Mostly musical.
Oh, okay.
If I look at the band, it's mostly musical.
Right.
There's hardly anyone that, you know, just does a regular 9 to 5 that I can think of. Oh, maybe Bella.
Well, off and on, yeah.
Off and on, you
Okay.
know. But yeah, but I think we're mostly like real hardcore musicians. You know.
Okay.
Like I run my organization. I'm the head person for my organization in Canada, so you know, I have tons of people under me that run things if I'm not around and stuff like that.
I mean, in my case, I'm married and I have kids, and so they're grown, and my wife, etc. You know, Crack of Dawn might just end up doing some touring in Europe, and she looked at me and says, "I'll help you pack your bag."
gotta love that
She
support.
knows that.
Yes.
She knows, and everybody else's
Yeah.
partners know. That in my case, she knows that, you know, this is my dream since I was 14,
Yeah.
to be with an incredibly great group of musicians, to have an opportunity, and to travel and perform
Yeah.
our music at an extremely high level all around the world.
Right. I mean, I've seen you with so many different bands. I guess when you play at the local tavern, so it's like a break for you.
With Jerome? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerome is all about fun.
Yes, I like that.
Funky, and it's fun, and it's freestyle, and you just go in there.
He's
And
amazing.
I don't know anything he's going to play.
Oh.
I have no idea what his set list is. I just start to listen to the music. I pick up a rhythm out of my brain, and I start to play.
Oh, he's amazing. I had him twice in the studio. I had Michael Dunstan 2 years ago. I had Carl Harvey a year and a half ago. Now I got
And you've had Alexis Barrow in here too.
Yes.
That's right.
She's a trumpeter.
Oh, yes,
That's
I did.
right.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
right. Alexis,
Barrow.
who was one of the most prestigious players in Cuba, who played in the National Orchestra, and is our trumpet player. I mean,
I forgot about the guy. Wow.
That-
Thanks
yeah.
for bringing that up.
yeah. So it's incredible. Like, again, looking at the talent that's in the band, and you know, we're just at the beginning stages of making use of all of this stuff.
Right.
If you listen to the album, you'll hear a song called "Your Love," where Alexis does an incredible flugelhorn solo on it.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, he's-
yeah, it's
She's
just
off the charts.
It's just
And let me
beautiful.
tell you, honestly, I can't share it with you yet, but I
Good.
can just tell you
Right.
that he has sent me some of the tracks that he's been working on for me to start to listen to start to get comfortable with for the next next CD, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
We have
Wow.
well, upon completion, you know what you have to do.
come right back here.
Talk about that
Absolutely.
when that's released and so on. We
Yeah,
get
yeah.
some airplay. I
For
get
sure.
some
Be happy
people
to.
on the bandwidth to plug as well with my show. Where can your music be found? No.
Well, right now, a lot of our stuff is, as is common in the industry right now, is digital platforms. So, what's some of them, Mark?
Well, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's all the major
iTunes.
ones, iTunes. You can buy a physical hard copy of the
Yes.
CD in Best Buy.
Yeah, also CD Baby,
CD
Okay.
Baby, thank you.
Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation.
Yeah,
Everything.
it's everywhere.
Right. Where can fans find you on social media platforms?
ReallyBigWorldBand.com.
Facebook, Crack of Dawn Band at Facebook.
Right.
crackofdawnband.com, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things are looking bright for you, for your band, and I'm liking the music, man, and what the band is doing, and we're gonna keep in touch with. I always tell the bands who come to my show and the artists, send me your itinerary, where you're playing in
Right,
town,
absolutely.
so I can
Yeah.
plug in, get the fans to come out there to see you.
Yeah.
I like to come out there because I don't just get them in the studio. I support the bands as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you do.
Appreciate that.
And you
Yes.
do.
Appreciate that.
I mean, you always see my
Everywhere I
face.
played, you've shown up.
That's true.
Thank you, as my witness. Anything else you would like to plug in that you need to get out there?
Well, I would just say I'd like to thank all the people that supported Crack of Dawn and for the amazing fans that we've developed during the short time that we've been back.
Yeah.
And what I'm very happy to see is the mixture in the audience, like
Yes.
young, old, people of all races, color, creeds, kind, religions, whatever. You know, like what we do in a world full of trouble is we bypass all these issues that people have and come together in this beautiful meeting place called music.
Yes. Well said, man. Well said. When you were putting out that Crack of Dawn CD, in the production level and everything, what went into it to get this where you
Wow.
wanted to go?
Well, man, I'm telling you, like, some amazing surprises happened in that studio. We did limited rehearsals before the studio.
Right.
Got acquainted with some of the songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when we got into the studio, it's just like, man, it's like a miracle happened. Like, we just hit this shit. Pardon my language,
No
but
worries.
you know what?
Yeah.
This album is all recorded live off the floor. It's not like it was programmed into a computer for beat.
Right.
Our drummer was bang on a click track,
Mhm.
right? Most of this album was done in 1 or 2 takes, live
Yeah.
off the floor.
That's unbelievable.
Yes,
That is unbelievable.
and this is not easy arrangements. You listen to this stuff. This stuff is arranged music.
Uh-huh.
One more thing.
Yes.
We're gonna be filming our next music video to this song called Old School.
Okay.
Old School Groove.
Alright.
Very
It's on the
soon.
CD.
It's on the CD, and I love that track because that track is literally going down memory lane for this genre of music.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing that very soon.
Good.
Next
good.
week.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
Here in Toronto.
All right. So you send me the links when these things put up and
Yep.
where it's gonna be, and we get it out there. And what I'm trying to do now is I had the funk festival featured Dayton, Ohio, the land of funk. I spoke to the CEO last week over the radio. Had a great interview. Today I was doing Jamaica Funk. I'm getting all the
Nice.
other people from different networks to join together. It's not about competition.
That's
and,
right.
and all this kind of madness.
It never is.
No.
Yeah, let's come together and change that old dynamic.
Yeah. Build a community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people are on board. I have
Yeah.
Lady Funkalicious. I have DVD.
Oh, she's I love her.
Amazing.
Straight up. Paula is just what a beautiful woman.
She is, and to me, one of the best voice I've heard in radio in Canada.
Oh yeah.
And her and DVD on Air Candy's show
Yeah.
Friday 3 to 5.
She's done some amazing stuff for Crack of Dawn. To be honest with you, like, she gave us a platform for some really great exposure when we did the Funk Festival, Funk and R&B Fest
Yes.
at the Mod Club. And that was when you really saw Crack of Dawn just come out on stage and the place just went boom. You know, like with just the stage appearance alone when we walked out.
Right.
You know, like you could really feel everything lift, you know, to that next level.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And everybody, when I started the show, you remember, and you came in, I never heard of this Cool Breeze Experiential, and you went to your phone, and I still have the video on up there. Put it. I'm gonna tune in every Saturday.
Yeah, this is my first gig with these guys. I was nervous as can be.
So, when I got into radio, I wanted Canadian artists to be at the forefront.
Yes.
Independent artists, because I didn't like what I was seeing. The Matrix with and they had their crowd and who they support. I said, I'm going to change that dynamic with radio. Invested in this beast here.
Very nice.
The camera, quality microphones, tripod, the whole bit. And I'm going to put us at the forefront, because when I saw the blues, all these great blues players, they were just like treated like garbage.
Yeah.
And it was just phenomenal talent.
Unbelievable.
I wasn't going to make that happen with our artists in Toronto.
Yeah.
You look at my portfolio up there and you'll see.
That's fantastic.
And the Americans found out. They said, I want a piece of the action.
Nice.
Crown Heights Affair, Alvin Flight, Darryl Gibbs, the VP of Treasure Works Records, Ecoda Records in Georgia, Thunderdome Studios. All these cats support me. Norman Connors in Philadelphia.
That's fantastic.
Val Burke, the legendary bass. We play with the Moments, the Delphonics. All these cats, they all call me every week and check with me.
That's fantastic.
I said, it's a love. And I let them know that you have a home to come to at Radio Regent.
Right.
Play your music. When you bring your music, I play your music. All you have to do is get me some of your fan base.
Yeah.
How easy than that can it get?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's great work that you're doing, and the fact that you've reached out to some of these people and they've responded to you is pretty awesome. Pretty
It
amazing.
is. And it gives me joy. I don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
But I treat it with the respect and the honor like I'm getting paid $500,000 with bonus 1, bonus 2.
Absolutely, man.
And minus 3.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like this is a love thing for us. You know, like
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's all about love. And
yeah.
thank you, gentlemen, for coming down to the Cool
Thank
Breeze
you. Excellent.
Experience.
welcome.
Mark,
Very welcome. Good seeing you
Rupert,
again.